not the first one to say happy birthday. All right. So, questions like this. Which expression is equivalent to square root of 600? There is one like that. There was one like this on last year's STAR test, the year before that. So, more than likely, there's going to be one like it. Now, we learned how to simplify radicals. Remember that worksheet where you had to do the coloring, the cupcakes on the backside? That's what that was. Now, there is a calculator trick for this, so you don't have to remember all of your perfect squares, because in order to simplify it correctly, you need to know what your perfect squares are. So, to do this, all you need to do is take the square root of 600, starting off. Square root is second x squared. Make sure you are practicing typing this in. If you don't type it, you don't practice, then you don't remember the day of the test. So when I take the square root of 600, I get what? A decimal. 20 what? 4.9, 24. So let's write that in. 24.494. Dot, 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 because there's some other numbers there. All right, now from there, you're going to type each one of the answer choices in. So the first one, 6 square root of 10, 10 square root of 6, 24 square root of 25, and then 25 square root of 24. So this is what A, B, C, and D give you. Match up the decimals and you found your answer. What would the answer be? B. The answer would be B. So 6 square root of 10 gives you 18.97. Dot, dot, dot. 10 square root of 6, 24.49. 120. And 122.47. Okay. So the ones that match is answer choice B. Questions? Okay. Next one. Exponent rules. All of your exponent rules. Either you're going to add, you're going to subtract, you're going to multiply the exponents, or you're just going to switch sides. There are a couple where, more than likely, if you get one of these questions on the STAR test, it'll be a multiple choice. More than likely. But there have been some in the last couple of years that are fill in the blank. So we'll work through those together. But there is a trick for, if it's a question that's much larger like this, it'll be multiple choice. And there's a calculator trick for that. Okay. Now, this is not a very, I would say a level 6 on a level of 1 to 10 calculator trick, so make sure you're paying attention. The first thing you want to do is, in the question, the whole thing, not just part of it, the whole thing in the question, you want to change all of your variables to x, even in your answer choices. No matter what the variable is, change it to an x, okay? Then what we're going to do in the calculator is we're going to ask the calculator to plug in a random number for each x value. To do this, you're going to use the store feature. And the store feature, it looks like this. It says STO. So everybody's been saying STO. We're going to store x as a random number, not a number 1. You want a random decimal. So in first period, just because they like to have fun with that, we're going to do 6.7, okay?
I don't know. Some of my things are black, are smeared off.
Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you where to find it. Okay. So we're going to store x as 6.7. So you're going to press 6.7, press the button stow, and then press the X button, press enter, okay? I'm going to go through that with you. I'm going to go to my calculator, type in 6.7. Yes? Now, the store button is the button right above on, right there. Stow. So it'll create a little arrow in there, and then type the X, press enter. So what that does is anytime you type in an X into the calculator, into the home screen, it's going to plug in a 6.7.
Oh.
Okay? Now, the only reason, and I originally wrote the number 1 there, the only reason we got away from using the number 1 is because it wouldn't work with every answer. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type the expression that is written in number 26. I'm going to type this in using only X's, no Y's. Okay? So, fraction 36, x to the power of 4, x to the power of 5, parentheses, 3xx squared. Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you have this digitally?
It should be in the drive.
It is in the drive?
Should be. Should be.
Oh, you forgot something.
So you should get 54,005. If you did not, raise your hand.
I haven't finished typing.
Wait, what the heck? Wait.
Bring it here. If you did not get 54,000,
It gave me an error.
then if you got error, bring it here.
I got a fraction.
All right.
Wait, and then we click enter?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. Look at the way Channy typed it in and the way I typed it in.
You forgot the other X.
You forgot the other x to the power of 5, and you forgot the other x down here.
Oh, I see what I did.
So I put 2 X's for each one.
Nah.
Oh, yes, you type it in exact.
Monday.
Hey,
Wait.
calculator tricks suck to try to teach, so please, okay?
My bad.
Channy, you forgot. Channy, look up. You forgot this x to the power of 5. You forgot this x. Even anywhere you see a letter, you type an x in its place. Anywhere you see a letter,
They said just don't put the Y.
you put x instead of y.
She never said.
Did you figure out yours?
It was something.
Okay. So once you type all of that in, you should get 54,005. Why does it keep doing that? Okay. Now we're going to type each one of these answer choices, every single letter, but you're going to put an X instead of a letter that's not X, and get those decimal values. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my calculator, and I'm going to type all my answer choices. For answer choice A, 12x cubed, x to the power of 4. What do you get?
7,000.
No.
7 million.
No.
More. I got 7 million.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, yes.
Wait, I got.
That's 7 million.
Oh, I put something wrong.
You got 1 million?
These are big numbers, man.
They are big numbers, but it's not 1. It doesn't start with the number 1.
Okay.
So, this is what A, B, C, and D give you.
Yeah, all this work.
Yes? Did we type them in correctly this time?
Yeah.
Do we understand how to type them in?
Yep.
Yes, no? Channy? Okay. All right. So for answer choice F, we get
H.
7,272,000.
Yep.
For G, we get
300,000.
3,640. No, 30.
364,000.
Yeah, 533. For H,
54,000. 5.
and then for J,
I don't know.
that one is 3 million, right?
Yes.
Think so?
3,636,426. So which ones match?
H.
H. Your answer is H. And you just did that without having to remember all of the exponent rules. You're welcome.
Oh, so
Ah. All right, next. Sequences. Sequences is something that we've recently learned. Now, we did learn how to write the sequences with we had explicit and recursive, the recursive rule. This one is one that's written as the recursive rule, where your answer choices are the sequence, but they tell you what your first term is and what to do with that first term, okay? Now, the first thing we notice is that the first term is 6, okay? A sub 1 is 6. So I cannot get rid of any answer choice because all of them start with the number 6, yes? Now, what was the main difference between between arithmetic and geometric
I don't know.
sequences? What two different types of graphs did they make?
Linear.
Or exponential. Now, to create those graphs, what is the difference? Why do we get a linear versus an exponential?
You get a linear by adding the same thing.
You get linear by adding the same thing. You get exponential by multiplying the same thing. Look at the equation they've given you. Does it have a plus or minus sign in between the 4 and the A? No. So that means the 4 is being what?
Multiply.
So that means we're multiplying by 4. That is my R. So if we start with 6 and we multiply by 4, we get
24.
times 4, you get
96.
then.
84.
So your answer is
A.
A. Now, if that 4 had a plus sign somewhere, if it had 4 plus A sub n minus 1, then that would mean addition instead of multiplication. Okay? But it doesn't. Or sometimes they do not give you the formula in or the equation in the problem. This one gives you the first 5 numbers in the sequence. Okay? You can create, look at step number 1. It says make a table from the given values. Okay? You can create an X and a Y table. The first number in the sequence is
75.
what?
47.
47.
Yeah.
The second number in the sequence is
33.
then
19. 5.
4, 5, then
-9.
5, -9. Okay? Now, with any table, what do? You put it into stat edit. But to know which option to pick, you need to know how these numbers are increasing or decreasing. Okay? We see a what here? Plus sign. So that should be a hint to tell you that this is going to be what? Linear or exponential? Linear. And for linear, what do you use in stat edit? Option
1.
linear? 4.
Subtracting by 14.
Okay? It's subtracting by 14. So, put these points into stat edit.
Always do stat edit. Reset my thing.
And when you go to stat calculate, you use number 4. Okay?
Yeah, I'm definitely telling you.
No, you gotta cut.
What do you get for A? And for B?
61.
So that means the first box is going to be what?
Hey, 14.
Negative 14. The second box,
61.
61.
So those are 47.
Because remember, even though it's the first term in the sequence, your y-intercept is where x is 0. Remember? Yeah. It's 0. This 61 represents 061, not 147. Got it? All right, that was sequences. What's the next page? Functions?
Yeah.
Okay. Functions. The main idea of functions is, does the x value repeat? So it says, pro tip, scratch out the y values. That way you're not confused and not trying to focus on the y values instead of the x. So if you look at each type of example with tables, scratch out the y values. The first one, the negative 13 repeats, so that means it is not a function. None of the x values repeat in the second one, so it is a function. Okay? Ordered pairs, same thing. The first set, bless you, the negative 1 repeats, so it's not a function. In the next set, none of the numbers repeat. Negative 9, 0, 1, negative 3. None of those numbers are the same, so it is a function. Maps can be confusing because of all of the arrows, but every single arrow connects to numbers. If you look at the very first map, you're connecting 2 with 20. The second arrow connects 2 with 40. Connecting 2 with 40, you'll notice that the what? 2's repeat. So pro tip, convert the map to a table first. That way you scratch out your y values and you'll notice that your x values are repeating in the first one. In the second one, scratch out your y values. None of these numbers are repeating. So that one is a function, okay? There's two different types of graphs, but for graphs, we use the vertical line test. Flip the booklet over. Kennedy, we're on the other side. You use the vertical line test, okay? There are types of graphs where the points are not connected. Do not connect the dots. This isn't connect the dots, okay? You're going to draw a vertical line through each and every dot, okay? In the first one, if you draw a vertical line through each dot, each one of the lines only touches once, right? In the second graph, even though the first one only touches one dot or 1 point, the last one touches how many? 2 points, so that makes it not a function. Continuous graphs are the types of graphs you see most of the time in algebra, where all of the points are connected and it's like a line segment, okay? And in the first graph, it doesn't matter where I draw my vertical line, it's only going to cross one time. In the second graph, if I draw a vertical line on the y-axis, it's only going to touch one time. But any other place you draw a vertical line, you're going to cross the line how many times? Twice in 2 spots, here and here. Okay, so that makes it not a function. Now, pro tip, when in doubt, because functions most of the time are multiple choice questions, you have four answer choices, right? If 3 of them are repeating and 1 of them is not, pick the one that is not, or vice versa. If 3 of them are not repeating and 1 of them is, pick the one that is repeating. Pick the odd man out, okay? Let me see. Last thing, function notation, plugging numbers in. You can manually plug numbers in, or you could use the store feature that I just taught you how to use in the beginning of class, okay? So like, if you get something like this, you should be thinking, if you get something that says f of 6, you should be thinking in your mind f of x. That tells you that x and 6 are in the same spot. So you're supposed to plug in a 6 anywhere you see a x. So look at the example that I've given you here. Given p of x is equal to this equation, what is the value of p of 7? What do they want you to do with the 7?
Put it in the x.
Put it where you see the x. You can manually put it, or you could use the store feature. I like using the store feature because then sometimes I don't plug numbers in correctly. But All you do is put a 7 in the spot where the X is. So once again, 2 different ways to do it. The first way is using the store feature. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to tell my calculator to put a 7 where I see X. Okay? Hold on, let me get to the right page on my screen over here. That way I'm not typing the wrong thing. Here we go. So 7, store, X, enter. Store is that button above the on, right? Then you type the expression from the question just the way you see it. -4, X minus 15 squared plus 2. And you get
-254.
-254. With this way, you're telling the calculator to plug the 7 in for you where the X is.
So 6 is what?
So it does the work for you, okay? So if I put in this, if I store it, it'll give you -254, and that's your answer. Or you plug it in yourself. So type in -4, 7 minus 15 squared plus 2. And there's your -254.
Wait, though.
The only reason I do prefer storing is because of negative numbers, and sometimes you get some crazier equations, just like you probably will on the packet. So I would use the store feature. Now, there are some questions that I did with the class on the packet, so let's go through those.
I already got number 1. Number 1 was very
Good for you.
good.
Wait, so we're doing with the...
Yeah, don't.
Yes, we are done with the booklet.
No, this is number 2. Look.
Starting with number 4. Number 4, a lot of students in first period were trying to type this in as 2 separate equations. No, it's all the same thing, okay? Now, understand that if you reset the calculator, you're going to have to store 6.7 again. So that's what we're going to do right here, okay? Store 6.7. Let me see. Type 6.7, store X. Okay? Now we're going to type in the whole expression, all of this together into the home screen. Remember, instead of using A, B, C, you use an X every time. And yes, you do type in the power of 0. Because they were also not typing in the power of 0. And you should be practicing. You should be typing this in Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. So parentheses 15x to the power of 0.
You got a very low digit.
I didn't do to the power. To the power 34. Ooh. 3.
I got a really weird digit.
I'm not done typing it in.
Oh, my bad.
That's what I got.
You didn't type the -29.
But -16.
I put negative. Why did I put -16?
I don't know.
Where did I get that?
You probably looked at
Wait, I typed that in too. I don't know why I put that in.
Brrr.
29?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now?
There's 20
Yeah.
zeros following it?
That's what you should get. If you did not get that, come see me.
I got that. Hey, just he has his calculator turned up. Oh, you're lying. You're lying on my name. You are lying on my name.
Yes? No? Everybody good? You already got it? Okay, now you type in each of your answer choices one at a time to see which one gives you a decimal that matches. So the first one, 18 over x to the power of 58. Oh my gosh. It's definitely not F. Not B.
I'm the first. Seven of spades. King of clubs. Club seven. Let's close it. That club, this is a club.
Kennedy, I don't think you've typed all of this in.
Play
So,
cards on the computer. On the computer. On the calculator.
so what answer should you get?
J.
Should be J.
J.
And it's not J because you typed it in. It's J because you're just sitting there waiting for answers.
I wrote mine down. Could you explain number 2 for me? Or number 1? Number 2 and 1? Bro, 2 is easy. Buddy, just square it and then square all these and then find the answer dimensions.
All right.
Right?
Jump down to number.
You got number 1 or number 2? Number 2 don't make sense.
No, you can figure that one out. Number 19.
19.
Like I said, you can always use the calculator trick with most of the exponent rules, but every once in a while you'll get one where you have to fill in the blank, where it's a drag and drop, which this one would be one like that. So you have to know the rules. When you have exponent rules, you always take care of parentheses first. What do the parentheses tell you to do with the 7 and 3? Distribute, and distribute means to multiply. So 7 times 3 is 21. So after you multiply 7 times 3, now you have x to the power of 22 times x to the power of 21. What do you do with these exponents right here? You add them. So you get x to the power of 43. But that doesn't answer the question because it says that is equivalent to what?
The P.
So what is the value of P?
43.
43. Now jump down to 21. You're plugging numbers in. It's just the wording that confuses a lot of students. So I always like to go through this one with everybody. This one has f of x, so you have a different number to plug in for f. And then you also get an equation for g of x, so you have a different number to plug in for g. From there, you're just trying to figure out which ones are what? Equal. So the first thing I would do so that I'm not typing in different equations every time is go through the f's first. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is plug in a -2, 0, 8, and a 2. So I'm going to go back over to my calculator, and we're going to plug that into this equation right here. Clear that out. Oops. Clear. Okay. So the first number I'm plugging in is a -2. So -2 minus 3 squared plus 4. And somebody's talking over me, so you're probably going to hear that in the video. All right, so Kennedy, what did you get for B when you plugged it in?
I'm not quite there yet.
Exactly. Quit playing around.
Yo, basically, yo. You was trying to draw with the paper.
Plug in your numbers. So for A, whenever you plugged in -2, you should have gotten what? 29.
9.
Then for B, 13. For C,
29.
and for D,
5.
5.
Sorry.
Then Be for real. Now for G, you're plugging in 4 other numbers for that equation. Now the first one is a -3, so it's very, very important when you're plugging in negative numbers to put those in parentheses. Since 3 is negative, I'm going to type -3 to the power of 3, then my +2. Oh, +2. Then -1 to the power of 3 +2. So on the other side of the equation, for the -3, what do you get as your response?
-20.
5. And then for the next one?
1.
And?
29.
And?
3.
So which ones gave you answers that were equal? C. All right. You continue to work on that packet by yourself.
Okay, I'm already stuck on number 4.